Welcome back to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton, and on this episode, we're going to talk about a team that's going to be playing a lot of the AFC South teams. That would be the Atlanta Falcons. And I thought, who else can I bring on talk that embodies the Atlanta Falcons, that breathes black and red, that wears black and red probably on a daily basis. One-on-one the beats, Dolewite. What's going on, man?
Man, thank you for having me here to talk about my lifelong tragedy of being an Atlanta Falcons fan. I appreciate it. So, but I love talking. I love talking about the Falcons. So, man, I'm happy to be here for real.
Yeah, thank you for coming on again. We're gonna get to the Falcons, talk about the offseason, things like that, and more, just a little later. But of course, opening up every show, we started off with the Get Off Your Chest segment. Now it can be about sports, football, anything, basketball, whatever. It can be about anything. For this episode, we're going to go to the baseball. Yeah, we're going to go to the baseball diamond. We're going to talk about Nashville and baseball. Now, for those that have not paid attention, Nashville has been trying to get a baseball team for what seems like years. Now, we built a new baseball stadium here for the Nashville Sounds, but unfortunately, I don't think that stadium is big enough for a professional team. So, you have all these people that are buying in. You got Justin Timberlake talking about he wanted to try to help bring the stars here. That's going to be the name of the team, by the way, folks, I believe. But you have Eddie George. You've got Dave Stewart, the former Oakland A's pitcher, which, by the way, Oakland went to he's going to Las Vegas. But the talk around the All-Star break was that they're trying to get, Oakland, which they're going to Vegas again, and Tampa Bay situated before they talk about expansion. But one of those teams that's talking about getting situated would be the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, in case you have not paid attention, they are one of the best teams in baseball this year. They're slugging the ball very, very well, pitching the ball very well, and they could very well make a run to the World Series. And they have one of the worst, probably if not the worst stadium in Major League Baseball. No, they don't have the worst. I'd say Oakland does. Anytime possums are coming out of your roof of your stadium, Oakland's got the worst one. But yeah, definitely one of the worst stadiums out there. And if they don't get a new stadium and get it worked out, guess who could come calling? Yes, that's right, Nashville. The Tampa Bay Rays could potentially come to Nashville. It's being rumored out there, talked about potentially. We shall see what happens. But for me, you're going to bring a team that's World Series potential. In that team, it's always competing. Even though they don't ever have the money to compete, you just try to figure out how they MacGyver their way to a World Series every year, but they do. To bring that team to Nashville, I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of teams, or a lot of players, there are a lot of people there to watch those players and support those players, and probably with all the money dumped into it, you never know what could happen and what it could be. The only thing I'm wondering is where they're going to put the stadium. I mean, they can't put it downtown, in my opinion. You got to put it like on the outskirts. Is it going to be in East Nashville? What are they going to do with the stadium? I have no idea. But, it would be interesting if the Tampa Bay Rays move to Nashville and become the Music City Stars. What do you think, Dolewite?
I think if they did that, then attendance problems are over. Nashville gets behind their sports teams quite a bit, and it's a great sports city. So I think that's an easy win. I think no matter what baseball team you bring here, I think it's going to do well. But I think if you bring an already established organization that is already winning here and making a push for postseason and beyond, the city's going to go crazy, man. And that solves every problem you have there in Tampa. So, I say do it. Go for it. Make it happen. Sign me up.
There we go.
Even though I'm a Braves fan, technically. But sign me up anyway.
Well, I'm a long-suffering Cubs fan, so, hey, you might want to sign me up for that too. So,
you guys won a World Series,
but
though.
Yeah, we did. But
recently in your lifetime, the Falcons
think of all the years that we didn't go anywhere.
Yes, but you won one. I just want to see my Falcons win one time, and that's it. I can rest.
Well, I will tell you this. If they win one, they're going to have to kind of expand the rooms in your house, the doorways, because your head's going to be so big, you're not going to be able to walk through them.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be real emotional, and I'm just gonna cry. I'm gonna drop to the floor, and that's gonna be my celebration. Like when they were, and I hate to bring up the Super Bowl, but when we were in the Super Bowl the last time, I sat in my house by myself. My wife was pregnant at the time. She was up on the top floor of the house, and I was on the bottom, and I just watched the game alone in solitude. I didn't answer. I didn't text. I was just locked in on the game, and yeah, we all know how that went, but. Maybe I should have had a party. I don't know, but we all know how that went.
Yeah,
And the NFL
and by the
tweeted
way,
the whole game out today too. So, thank you.
Man, just way to twist the knife. Way to twist the knife,
Right.
NFL. But hey, Danny Thompson, if you're watching or listening, I didn't bring it up. I'm just gonna say I did not bring it up.
I didn't either. I wasn't even thinking about the game until the NFL tweeted the entire game out. Of all the games that have been played in NFL history, they just chose that one and tweeted it out today. But here we are.
Why didn't they just put it as a thread? I mean, geez, come on, get to the new things. Come
on,
NFL.
man. Come on.
But
where's DeAndre Hopkins going to play next year? Tell me that. Like, why you got to relive old stuff? You know?
Right. So, want to get to, of course, get over to the Atlanta Falcons since we are talking a little bit of Atlanta right now. Of course, you're in Nashville. You've been in Nashville forever.
22 years. Yeah, 22 years.
Yes, sir. You've been in Nashville ever since. Let's see. I was in college when you came to Nashville.
Wow. Basically. Yeah, I was fresh out of college, so we're not far apart in age. So that's good to know.
But yeah, everyone that knows you knows you're a Falcons fan. So you're facing the AFC South this year. So
yes,
we're gonna get to these matchups. Of course, want to talk about the Falcons, and we kind of want to talk about the draft. And they had an interesting draft pick to start.
They did
with Mr. Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Now, I think I know your feelings on this draft pick when it first happened, but for those that don't know, go ahead and kind of give them your thoughts on what you thought about this pick.
I thought it was the pick of a team that just had every position filled, and not the team that has needs on it, like the Falcons roster. We had Tyler Algier, who last year as a rookie rushed for 1,000 yards. He looked great. He did everything. We still have Cordarrelle Patterson. We have Drake London and Kyle Pitts and what's the dude's name that we just got out? Mac Hollins. So I mean, I felt like the offense was. We haven't had a defense. I can't remember the last time we had a defense. It was probably the first time we went to the Super Bowl. The last time we actually had a decent defense, which was in 98, 99. So I thought we should have done what Philly does and just pick Georgia defensive players the entire draft. And we didn't do that for whatever reason. But, I mean, you see where Philly is and you see where we are right now. Having said that, it's kind of exciting. I kind of see what they're doing there. You got a quarterback that you're not quite sure about, a third-round pick in Des Ridder, who looked better every game that he played, but didn't really light it up last year. You're in a run-first offense, but you've got a lot of weapons now, and you got a lot of playmakers on the side of the ball. So Des Ridder just needs to get the ball to those playmakers to make things happen. He'll make himself look a little bit better, and then while he can kind of work on his own game. So I get what they're doing, but at the same time, it would have been nice to have a defense for once. Been nice, especially with Calais Campbell there. You know what I mean? Kind of coach some guys up. You know what I mean? It would have been nice. It would have been nice.
Now, it's going to be funny when the first time you hear Calais Campbell talk after a game. He talks like his voice is kind of going away.
Yeah.
He'll probably be talking like that the entire time. It's you just don't expect that voice to come from him. You expect Barry White. You don't expect a guy sounding so hoarse to come from him.
No. He's yelling all day though. So I mean, I feel him. It happens to me sometimes. That's
true.
Yeah.
Now after the Robinson pick, I got to ask. They went with all defensive guys and offensive linemen, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Now after that pick, would you say they kind of got the places where they need to get?
Yeah, they started kind of looking at the trenches at that point, and we're like, all right, this is where we're weak at. And I get the Robinson pick because I think a lot of draft analysis said he's probably going to be the best player in this draft. It's just at a position that we didn't really need. So I get it on that part, but yeah, the rest of the draft, I think they kind of addressed some things that they definitely needed. I just think they could have addressed it with a better player with that first pick. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it happens. It happens.
It happens a lot to us, it seems like. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't say it. That's all I'm going to say. But as far as the rest of the offseason, we're going to talk about that. Jonnu Smith and a few other pieces that they brought in. But first we're going to take a quick commercial break. We got to pay these bills around here at the AFC South. We're going to take
a shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right. Thank you, Garrett Logistics. Of course, you're moving anytime, you may want to holler at them, man. They get you from A to Z real quick, man.
There you go.
There we go. Now, of course, getting from A to Z, with the offseason, the Atlanta Falcons definitely did that with a few things they did. They traded for Jonnu Smith. Yeah, they traded for Jonnu Smith, though. I did like that move because, you're reuniting him with the guy that made him the best version of himself, Arthur Smith. Then, of course, you got Tyler Heineke as the backup, bringing him back home to Georgia. Then you got Calais Campbell. You bring him in. You got Jesse Bates from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Well,
the big one.
I know that excited you when you saw that.
Yes, it's the big one. That was the big fish this offseason. That and Calais, I think, were the two best. Were my two favorites anyway.
Right. Then you did. I will say this though, you did get two wide receivers that one that is a bigger guy, and one that's kind of more of a speed guy, and the speed guy, Scotty Miller from Tampa Bay. So you saw him from afar, and now he's part of the team. And Mac Hollins, which to me he's like 6'4". So basically, what you're saying is you've got a basketball team out there. I'm just wondering who's going to go out there and dunk on the field goalpost first. Who's going to do it first?
I mean, I think when you look at the talent, you look at Kyle Pitts and Drake London. If Kyle Pitts can return to what he was in 2021 and continue building on that in his rookie season, I think that's a lot of size on that field. And Des Ridder doesn't have to be that accurate to get them the ball. He can get it near them, and they'll be able to make plays and bring the ball in. So I'm excited about it. Especially, I'm most excited about Drake and Kyle playing together with Des Ridder. Because we didn't get to see that last season. Kyle was out when Dez came in, and I think I judging by the way that Desmond Ridder was able to find Drake London more, I would suspect he would have found Kyle Pitts more than Marcus Mariota did. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited at the fact that Dez and Drake, they seem to be like they're young kids that seem to like really work hard and want to do this. So those are the two I'm most excited about probably is Kyle and Drake. But yeah, Mac Hollins, I'm not familiar with his game much at all. So, it'll be, I've heard good things. I think he had 600, 700 yards, something like that last year. So I think that'll be a good addition in the number 2 wide receiver. But it's a weird setup when you've got a solid number 1 in Drake London. And then you've also got this crazy talented tight end in Kyle Pitts. It's like, where does a number 2 and a number 3, wide receiver really fit in? Especially when you already have, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier, and now Bijan Robinson in the backfield as well. It's a lot of guys that can do a lot of things with the ball. So I'm excited about that.
Well, here's the thing. Looking at their offense, to be honest, the thing is,
I could damn near play quarterback for him.
There you go. And the thing is also, they can also play multiple positions because you got guys that can play wide receiver, running back, do different things. You got Kyle Pitts, you can line up on the end. You can line them out wide. You got Jonnu Smith, you can line up as an H-back, a running back sometimes, as he did for the Titans. And you can do a lot of different things with those pieces. But well, we did have a question from the AFC South inbox from Danny Thompson. Matter of fact, he said, "What's your thoughts on how we use CP84 now that we got Robinson in the backfield?" Which CP84 is Cordero Patterson. For those that aren't familiar.
I honestly have no idea how they're planning to get all these guys the ball, man. It just seems like it's just so many offensive weapons there that, like, I don't even know how we're going to get them all the ball. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think if there's one thing as a Falcons fan you have to be excited about, is probably that. It's like, hey, like, can we get these guys the ball? How do we get these guys the ball? How creative is this thing going to be? But it all kind of rests on the back of Des Ridder. Like, can he get them the ball? I think that he can do enough to get them the ball. That remains to be seen. So that's kind of the big question mark, man. We know we have the playmakers there. It's just a matter of getting them the ball.
Right. And one thing I was going to mention too is that this team, the way it's built, plays into what this is like Arthur Smith's wet dream right now.
Yeah, I think it is. That's what, that's what I took Bijan Robinson's pick as. I'm like, what are you doing? We have Patterson and Algier. Like, what is this? It's just him. It's like if you gave it's like almost like a Madden draft. Like, you know what I mean? Like what he did. Yeah, I agree.
He literally, like, the thing that he did a lot when he was with the Titans is he basically used a bunch of mismatches. I'll give you a play. I use this play all the time. You had A.J. Brown. He was lined up on the outside. You bring a wide receiver in motion that actually bumps out the corner on the outside to the outside guy. Now you've got the guy, or the slot corner on A.J. Brown, which is the ultimate win for A.J. Brown. Basically, he runs a wheel pattern. A.J. Brown catches a wheel pattern, touchdown down the sideline. I mean, this is the kind of things I envision with this offense. And that's why I think this offense can be really, really scary. I think they can be one of the top offenses in the NFL. I definitely do too.
I do too. Because everybody keeps coming back to Dez, but I'm like, Dez doesn't have to do that much. He just has to be good enough with everything that's around him. And the offensive line is decent as well. We were able to maintain our offensive line. So I mean, I don't want to get cocky and say that, hey, we're going to win X amount of games, because we're still the Falcons, But I feel better about this team going into this season than I probably have in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to ask you as well, I specifically with the wide receivers. The wide receiver core, of course, you got the basketball team, and then you got Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller's 5'9" guy, he's a speed guy. But how important do you think that guy could be? Because he's pretty sure-handed and he can fly. So do you think he's probably going to be a very, very essential piece to this offense?
I think he could be, because I think we need somebody to kind of stretch the defense and somebody that can go over the top. And I don't know that Drake London or Matt Collins is that guy. I don't know that they're going to, win a foot race like, Julio used to. You know what I mean? And I think you need that guy to take those deep shots. So I think that can be very important, especially we lost Olamide Zaccheaus over the offseason as well, who technically should have been our slot receiver. He ended up being number 2, sometimes probably number 1 last year, depending on what Drake was, when Drake was getting acclimated. But we need that guy. We really do. And I think that'll definitely help out, playing in the slot, going deep, blow the top off the defense. We need that kind of guys. We honestly just don't have it. Yeah. Not at the wide receiver position anyway. We have it in Bijan and Cordero, but not at the wide receiver position, I don't think.
Right. One thing I was going to mention, too, if you're not familiar with any Matt Collins tape, just go watch the game he played against the Titans last year. That'll show you all the tape you need, because he definitely that was probably his highlight game of the year.
All right, love it. There. Yes, definitely.
Not trying to dig at the Titans.
Sorry, Titans fans.
He definitely showed out that game. I mean, he could not be guarded that game. It was unbelievable. But I'm going to switch over to the defensive side of the ball. You got Calais Campbell, and then also a guy we didn't mention was Bud Dupree. Goes from the Titans to the Falcons. So, both guys are veterans and can bring leadership. So what do you kind of expect to see from them on the field besides the leadership?
So I'm hoping I think Bud Dupree still got another couple of years in him if he can stay healthy. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for health and wealth for Bud Dupree, like just stay on the field. And I think that's a good pickup. Calais Campbell, I mean, I think the guy is just I don't understand how he's still going playing at the rate that he's playing, right now at his age. You know what I mean? And hoping he doesn't slow down. But even if he does take a little step back, a little slow down, I remember the year we went to the Super Bowl. I hate to bring that up again, but we had Dwight Freeney that year, and it was the only year that Vic Beasley had as a solid player. You know what I mean? He led the league in sacks that year. And then Dwight Freeney was no longer part of the team, and Vic Beasley diminished. You just feel like guys like that can make such a difference on the younger guys, and that's kind of what you want from Calais Campbell, is to kind of coach up the younger guys. And he's playing there with Grady Jarrett too, and Grady Jarrett is still great, you know. So Grady Jarrett and Calais Campbell on the same defensive line, sign me up for that, man. Like I'm it's probably the best defensive line we've had in 20 years, just with those two alone. You know what I mean? So yeah, sign me up for that. I'm ready to go with that for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what 185-year-old Calais Campbell. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, but he's been around for a while though.
Yeah, he's like the Tom Brady of defensive linemen. Like, he just still keeps playing at a high level, dude. Like, I don't know how he's doing it, but it defies age, and he's doing it. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Play until they don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
But one guy that, speaking of didn't want anymore, the Detroit Lions didn't want Jeff Okudah.
Yes.
Jeff Okudah actually got traded to the Falcons from the Lions. I mean, the Lions kind of gave up on him. Of course, he got a couple injuries there as well. He's going to get a chance to be the second corner opposite of A.J. Terrell, who's an all-pro corner. What is your confidence level that he can actually step in there and be the guy?
Out of 10, I'd say 6.5 out of 10 would be my confidence level. I think it's a good pickup, and I think it's a good gamble to take. We did let go of Casey Hayward, which I thought was a little more – I felt a little better about Casey Hayward, even though he was injured most of the season last year. I felt a little better about Casey Hayward than I would Jeff Okudah. But the talent is there. It's just a matter of – he played well last year, Jeff did. Like, he had a good season. His best season, I believe, was last season. I'm just hoping that it works out, because somebody on the Falcons is always getting burnt. So just don't let that be you, Jeff.
Well, I will say this though. That was his first season, probably last year, that he was actually more healthy playing, to be honest.
Yes, true. So, yeah.
We'll see what happens there, but
fingers crossed.
We do. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna dig into the AFC South. The teams you're going to be facing, your Atlanta Falcons, are going to be facing on the AFC South with their host, Mike Patton.
You ever missed your mom's home-cooked meals? Well, you're not always able to get to those, but you are able to get to H&T's Home Cooking. Established in 2005, Patty Palin and her staff go out 6 days a week to create some of the best home-style meals you can taste, and at a fair price. So if you're in Nashville and you like chicken and dressings, green beans, macaroni and cheese, and other things, stop by H&T's Home Cooking. The address is 2264 Murfreesboro Pike, Nashville, Tennessee 37217. And they are open Monday through Thursday and Sunday, 11 to 6:30, and Friday, 11 to 7. And if you want to order online, of course, the option is available as well at hthomecooking.com, or you can call 615-367-0049. H&T's Home Cooking, food for your soul.
Yeah, that's going to be H&T's Home Cooking is going to be food for my soul come Sunday, man, because I'm definitely stopping through. Man, look, they got caramel cake over there too, man.
Is it vegan?
No, it's not vegan.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'll tell you about it. I'll just tell you about it.
Yeah.
But definitely getting back to the football talk. Of course, football does go with food, by the way, but that's another story for another day. We are going to talk about the AFC South, which are the teams that the Falcons will be seeing in the AFC South. We're going to start with the Tennessee Titans, of course. It'll be, teacher versus pupil, actually. Yeah. Arthur Smith versus Mike Vrabel, which will be an interesting matchup. For the first time, I believe they matched up in the regular season against each other. So
Yeah,
It's going to be a lot of physical play. It's definitely going to be that. And it'll be on Halloween, I believe, or Halloween weekend.
Halloween weekend, yeah.
So how does speaking of Halloween, there's movies like Saw, and there's Jigsaw, there's Jason, there's Freddy, and then for opposing defenses, there's Derrick Henry. So does it concern you that your defense has to go against that big of a man on Halloween weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think about the Titans, especially over the past 5 years or so, you got to think about Derrick Henry, and you also like see those insane workout videos on like Twitter where he's doing things that are like literally impossible, and you're like, that can't be real. But the guy's a machine, man. You know what I mean? The guy's a machine, and I remember the last time we played the Titans, Mariota was still the quarterback. But it was AJ Brown's coming out party. It was like the first time AJ Brown was, and he like killed us. AJ Brown killed us in the Georgia Dome, or that was probably the Georgia Dome. I don't know if the Mercedes-Benz Dome was there yet, but anyway. So we're due up to win this game. So Derrick Henry aside, I think it's the Falcons' turn. I think we come into Nashville and we win that game. Even though you didn't ask me my prediction, I'm giving it to you anyway. I think we're due up. I think we're going to get retribution for I think this is going to be the Bijan Robinson show. I think this is going to be his coming out party. He's going to come out and run all up and down the field. And that's my prediction for the Falcons-Titans game. And I'm going to be the most hated man in Nashville that entire week because I am talking Monday through Friday that week while I'm on air. So, yeah.
All right. Well, all I can say is this, man. Please let them win for your sake. Because
I'm used to them losing, so it's not a big deal. If they lose, I'm just like, all right, this is the Falcons. This is what we do. You know what
I mean? All right. So Jeffrey Simmons as well. We're gonna flip over to the other side. Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah.
Now the offensive line for the Falcons hasn't necessarily been the greatest of things for them. So them seeing Jeffrey Simmons on Halloween can get a little scary, don't you think?
I think so, yeah. But I also think that they took a step in the right direction last year. They got better. The run blocking, stronger in run blocking than we are in pass blocking. So yeah, Jeffrey Simmons is a difference maker, man. I mean, he's just that guy. He's probably, I would say, probably the best D lineman in the game right now. Like, I don't know anybody playing better than Jeff Simmons.
Hold on. Don't say that, man, because I'm gonna catch you. Aaron Donald, man. Aaron Donald.
Okay,
Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, and then there you go.
Aaron Donald is legendary. Is he better than Jeff Simmons right now?
Yes.
You still think so? Okay.
Any man that trains with knives to do his pass rushes is better than Jeff Simmons. No slight to Jeff Simmons, but that's just dangerous. You train with knives to get ready for the NFL. You got the first vote, man.
Jeff Simmons top 3, easy, right? Like easily top 3. Okay, all right. So anytime you're going against one of those guys, you're obviously going to game plan for him, and that's a scary thing to see, especially with an inexperienced quarterback back there. You know what I mean? So hopefully, they get a couple reps in before Halloween weekend and get it together. But Jeff Simmons is a scary guy for sure. For sure.
Definitely. Another team that's scary in the other direction for the last few years has been the Houston Texans. They've been it's been a house of horrors down there for them. So as far as their team, of course they're bringing in new players. They got a brand new quarterback. To me, the most talented quarterback that was in the draft, and C.J. Stroud. Then you've got Petrie at safety, which is their guy from last year. He's to me, I believe he's going to be an all-pro safety eventually. You've got Stingley at cornerback, which I'm still kind of iffy on him, but he is talented. And then you brought in a bunch of different guys. You got in Will Anderson on the outside. Mm-hmm. I mean, you bring in Jimmy Ward, a veteran from the 49ers defense, and then you bring in DeMeco Ryans as the head coach. Now, I'm not saying that DeMeco Ryans is going to play, but they're going to embody something of him on that field. So does that kind of concern you with that defense and potentially him making some things happen there?
Yeah. Do you have the date of that game? Because I would rather play that game earlier. I would hope that that's an earlier game in the season than a later game in the season. I think
don't
Houston's
have the date of that game.
Okay. I think Houston's probably one of those teams that's going to start off Houston, but end a little bit better, you know what I mean? Especially with a first-year head coach like DeMeco Ryans. I think that they're one of those. And CJ Stroud's going to need to get some games under his belt, and I can see them at the end of the season kind of, even if they're not winning games, I can see them pressing to win games towards the end of the season when everything starts falling into place. So that's one of those games that I really hope is at the top of our schedule rather than the bottom, because I don't think I want to see them. If D'Amico Ryans is a good head coach, I think we all think he probably is. I don't really want to see them at the end of the season after they've been under his wing for a while.
Right. Another team I would say that actually could get better as the season goes on will be the Indianapolis Colts, especially with a guy named Anthony Richardson at quarterback. And him and Shane Steichen, which for those that aren't aware, Shane Steichen was the guy that worked with Herbert out in Los Angeles, and he also was the guy that was there with Jalen Hurts. So imagine what he could potentially do with this walking box of talent. So does it kind of concern you?
Season. No, not this season. Next season, maybe. Not this season. I think Anthony Richardson, I think he needs a full season in the NFL before he's really, really ready to go. And maybe I eat my words. Maybe you play this back after we play the game. You're like, remember what you said here? And I'm like, okay, my bad. But I think he needs a full year, to go through it and to get it done before he can really blossom. So I think we win the Colts game.
All right.
I'm 3-0 right now against the South. Jags scare me. I know that's where we're going next.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing he can beat a lot of people with is sounding like Barry White. Anthony Richardson's got that on top. But of course, we do have to talk about Jacksonville, and the former player that played for the Falcons is now there. And you take out Marvin Jones Sr., you put in Calvin Ridley to an already explosive offense last year. I mean, you had Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram have career years. You had Zay Jones in the slot. You had Agnew, who was a forgotten about guy who's explosive in running the football or at wide receiver. You had, running backs. Then you had Trevor Lawrence. I mean, all of those different
being
things.
The guy that we thot he was, right? Like,
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
They had a un-Urban Meyer him, and now he's Trevor Lawrence again. So, I think Jacksonville is scary. I don't know how Calvin really hasn't played football in like 2 years now, like a year and a half. Like he took that mental break, I think, early in the season in 2021, and then of course was suspended last season. I'm interested to see how he works out. Like I know he's only 28, but I'm interested to see how he works out. I think he got, and this is no shade to Calvin Ridley. I think he's extremely talented, but I also think he benefited from being across from prime Julio Jones on the other side of prime Julio Jones. You know what I mean? So, I'm interested to see how that's one player I will be following on another team just to kind of see how he's doing. Just because I'm interested to see, like, can you come back from the past 2 years where you really haven't played at all? So I'm interested to see that.
He's definitely going to be interesting. Oh, one thing I did forget about, by the way, when I talk about the Colts, the Colts don't really have a lot of cornerback depth. So I'm pretty sure your basketball team of wide receivers are going to be, dunking all over those cornerbacks potentially. But in Jacksonville, they actually have an issue with their second corner because Tyson Campbell is their stud corner, but nobody on the opposite side. So they kind of have a little bit of the same issue that the Falcons have. So to me, it's going to be an interesting thing to see who can take advantage of whoever on what side.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think Trevor Lawrence might kind of be the X factor in that one. I just don't see the guy taking a step backwards, not with Doug Peterson as the coach anyway. And I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game.
Well, definitely I would say this. Are you comfortable if this game becomes a shootout? Because the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be able to put up points. So are you comfortable if that happens?
Yeah. I think our only hope this year is to be in shootouts. I think we're gonna try to. We got all those offensive players. We drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round to score points, and so if they're not doing that, they're failing. You know what I mean? So, I mean that's just what it is. Like when you make that your first draft pick, and you add it to, you already have a decent running back room, and you just drafted this guy instead of a defensive guy, you're doing that to score points. And if you don't score points, you are failing. So that's it. Yeah, we got to put them up.
That's true. That's true. Well, we have reached the end of all the questions about football in terms of, the basic questions about the Falcons and the AFC South. But there's always a game at the end of the show. It's 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. And now you are in the hot seat for this one. Are you ready?
All right. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Jermaine Dupri or Lil Jon? You got 1 song you got to get written. And it's got to be a hit. Who you going with?
Jermaine Dupri.
Okay.
He's done it for everybody. Lil Jon is an amazing producer, and he had a hell of a moment. Jermaine Dupri, his body of work is from Da Brat to Mariah Carey and everything in between. So you got to go Jermaine Dupri.
Okay. Man. All right. I figured you might go Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, no, you got to go. When they were talking about that, doing the verses with JD and Diddy, I was sitting there thinking, like, people don't understand how many hits JD really has.
Right.
Like, he's got hits, like pop #1 pop chart hits. Like, that would have been a good verse. Yeah.
Right. I still can't believe people are really, really sliding Jermaine Dupri when it comes to. I know Diddy's got a lot, but Jermaine has decades of it.
Yeah. No, he's that guy. He's been doing it since I was in 7th grade with Crisscross. Like, that's a long time. I was in 7th grade a very long time ago.
Man, I still listen to Live and Die for Hip Hop. I still listen to that song, Crisscross. I still listen to that song. But you got this one's for Atlanta here. Deion Sanders or Dominique Wilkins? Which one was basically represented Atlanta for you, in your opinion?
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I think the easier answer for if you're outside of Atlanta is Deion, because Deion put more of a shine on the city. But Deion was only there for 4 years. I think if you're inside Atlanta and you grew up in that environment, Dominique, I remember when I was a kid, Dominique was that guy. I mean, Dominique was that dude. I guess I go Deion just because he kind of brought more from outside the city in. But man, Dominique was I feel like when I was growing up, it was Dale Murphy and Dominique Wilkins were like the first 2 true, like, I mean, obviously Hank Aaron, but that was before my time. Those were the 2 like true sports stars in the city when I was growing up. So Dominique was that guy, man.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What is more likely to happen? Cordero Patterson, 700 total yards, or Pitts, 700 receiving yards next year?
I think Pitts, 700 receiving yards. I think that I don't know where Patterson fits in right now. This is going to be interesting to watch, just because Tyler Algiers got towards the end of the year was getting more of the carries and carrying the load, and now you got Bijan Robinson in there, and you also have to get the ball to Pitts in London. I think it's Kyle Pitts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I got a good one for you now. Bone Crushers, Never Scared, or them Franchise Boys, Lean With It, Rock With It? You got to pick one song.
Bone Crusher, Never Scared, 100 times over. 100 times over. Lean With It, Rock With It was cool. It was a moment. Never Scared was Bone Crusher, T.I., and Killer Mike. And I remember playing that record in the club. Like, Lean With It, Rock With It was cool. Everybody would do the dance. It is what it is. You can still play that record now, and people will still do that dance. But Never Scared was like it's something I hadn't seen before. Like, it was just like the biggest record you could drop. So I go Never Scared.
Yeah, I definitely love that record, man. Never Scared.
And the lyrical content was good. Like, T.I. and the Killer Mike can rap. Like, that's definitely. It's a good record. Yeah,
definitely, man. I still remember. Look, I'll still pop that on every now and then.
Look,
I had to throw a little Atlanta flavor on the questions this time. But this last one, I'm wondering who you're going to pick in this one.
All right.
You need a hot 16. Andre 3000 or Big Boy? Which one are you going to pick?
Andre 3000.
Okay.
No disrespect to Big Boy, but I love Outkast. It's probably my favorite group ever. And Big Boy, when you listen to him, you kind of got to listen a little closer. But Andre, just the way he delivers everything, it'll make you drop your jaw. So drop your jaw. So I go Andre 3000, but that's a tough pick for me. But I go Andre.
Yeah, you know,
I go
I
Andre
can't
almost.
make him
I go Andre almost over anybody though. So,
Yeah.
you know, not just big, but pretty much anybody.
Well, you know when you're waiting on his verse every time, and when he's talking about an album and the buzz goes out, you already know when that stuff happens, or when he drops a verse and everyone's talking about it, you know he's definitely got to be the guy. So
yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. Yeah.
Now I'm crossing my fingers that all this buzz talking about an album is actually for real, but do I believe it? Nah.
He's chilling with his money, man. I don't blame him. Yeah.
Right. Right. It's almost like me believing that no offense to Lauryn Hill, but it's almost like me believing Lauryn Hill's gonna show up on time. That ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Just go on and show up an hour late to the Lauryn Hill show, and then you only wait an hour, right?
There you go. There you go. And that's the end of the show. Thank you, Dolewite, for coming on. I want to, give you the floor. Tell everything you're working on. Please talk about the podcast, man. Hey,
podcast is back this week,
man.
I swear to God. Yeah, no, it's back this week. I finally got everything settled. So the podcast back this week, and I'm on 101 to beat every day, 3 to 7 p.m. If you're in Nashville, check me out. If you're not in Nashville, you can check me out on the iHeartRadio app. And there you go. I'm also, I think, doing a happy hour now. I'm back in the streets doing a happy hour 5 to 7 at Ainsworth every Friday. So check me out there too.
Oh, hold on. They said 5 to 7 every Friday.
5 to 7, yeah. Every Friday now.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, dang,
I mean,
man,
I think happy hour will be longer than that, but I'm only there from 5 to 7. All right, I gotta be home.
Right.
I'm old now. I gotta be home at 8, bro.
Man, look, man. So, yeah. The aches and pains kick in, man. They kick in.
Yeah.
You can't do the lean with it, rock with it, and the never scared. No, you do all that stuff, man. Look, you might end up going to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, hang on a few minutes after we finish up the show, but I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Of course, Touring AFC South is available on YouTube. Hello, everyone. You can also find Touring AFC South on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Radio, iHeartRadio as well. Yep, find me everywhere. Now, also, of course, if you want to, follow me on IG, I'm on there that's THA _general_MP. You can find me on the same way on threads as well, by the way. And then, of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at MikePatton82. That's MikePatton 82. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode. Talk a little Atlanta Falcons and the AFC South, the Dirty Birds versus the AFC South on Touring AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. We're out.